And it says we are live on YouTube.
Yay.
So let me turn on my
Hello.
iPad here. All right, welcome everybody back to That Mystery Show.
Hi, Carla.
Hi, Farah. I have Farah Nadeela joining me this evening as usual. And then I also have a special guest, LadyKnight of Avalon. Maria, welcome.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tonight we are going to touch on the subjects of a couple of them, like consumerism, because that seems to be a topic that we're seeing a lot in the land of tarot tube. Hi, long hair, skinny eyed toe. Or I'm sorry, yeah, long hair, skinny eyed toe. I actually love that. Thank you.
Hello.
I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. And we have Carol.
Hello.
Hey, Carol, thank you. Okay, so tarot tube's a little disgruntled. There's a couple things that are kind of going around, and issues might have to do with community, consumerism, like we talked earlier, capitalism, how we're reacting to each other, just a little bit of maybe possible unhappiness, so tonight we're going to have like 3 different views here on, because we've all watched the videos and stuff that have been circulating, and we each have kind of a different take on it.
Yes, we do.
And it's not, we talk about this stuff and we're not like attacking each other for having different views. Hi, Tony.
Hi.
Thank you very much. Ooh, she's awake and drinking her hot toddy. Yes, Tony, I hope you get over your stuff soon and get better quick. Seems to be going around. So I want to put out a disclaimer, since we are discussing these extremely sensitive topics right now, is that we're just 3 opinionated ladies.
Yep.
And we're not going to try to convince anybody, because again, there's 3 different views here, and I don't think anybody's right or anybody's wrong.
Well, hold on.
Hold my beer.
I think I'm right. And I may come off as trying to convince somebody. So I'm putting that out there. I'm already starting with the devil's advocate.
And I just want to say, well, the 3 of us are also from 3 different countries and cultures, so we also have different experiences. So what I experience over here is definitely not the same necessarily as what is going on in America. So
I think that is a very good point. Absolutely. I want to load something up here real quick, because I think my first question is going to be this. So, ladies, you see that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. What is a community?
What is a community? Farah?
Yeah.
What do you think a community is?
Okay. Well, first of all, I love your disclaimer. I'm going to put my disclaimer out there. Don't take anything I say personally unless it applies to you. If the shoe fits, then wear it. Okay. Otherwise, don't take it personally, and don't make any assumptions. All right. So.
Oh, frozen.
Oh, she'll come back.
Tarot tube now since at least 2018, something like that. Okay. So I've been watching silently for a long time. This isn't the first go around, and this won't be the last go around. Community. It seems like people want to be all kumbaya and let's all just be love and light and let's just agree with everybody. But that isn't the way community works.
No, there are big fireballs against the Hare Krishnas.
That would be my sister Salia. She's just
I'm leaving in 5 minutes.
Okay, that's my sister Sally. She's just hanging out for 5 minutes. So what I've seen for the longest time is it wants to be this kumbaya, let's all get along, let's not disagree. And as soon as somebody says something that is slightly controversial, people jump down people's back. That isn't that that doesn't allow for community. Is this tarot tube a community? No. In my opinion, it's not. It's not a tarot community. What it is it's a world of collectors and tarot tags. Community, in my opinion, is where everybody has a place, has a function, has something to offer, and fits into the puzzle, so to speak.
But sometimes stepping forward makes you forget everything.
Okay, thank you. So if we can all find if we find our place in the puzzle, then great. Then I feel like there's a community there. But this is not, there are too many people in the past since 2018 that have left the community, quote unquote community, that people have forgotten about and don't even remember their names. That's my take.
Well, wow. I haven't been here that long to know that, but I've heard. Hi, B. Hi, Phoenix Fire.
Hi, B.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Phoenix Fire.
I'm waving to everyone, but you can't see it.
So, Maria, what is your take on community? What is a community?
I agree. Yeah, I agree with Farah.
Did I start off too harsh? I apologize. I'm sorry. Yeah, I take it all back.
I agree with Farah on some things here. Like for me, a community is basically a group of like-minded individuals that are sharing something. But is TarotTube a community? No. I would say what we are is like we share the same address. That is the community. YouTube is the address. We're all individual TV channels, if you will, and we share the same broadcast network where we stream our stuff and we make it available for people to watch. But we're all doing our individual stuff. Yes, some of us get connected beyond that in a private matter, like we have, for example. But that is a different kind of thing. But on YouTube here, I don't see this as a community. We share an interest, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree. So like I was looking up just the actual term of what community is, and it's exactly what you ladies said. It's people coming together with a common interest. But there's more than just that. It's there's the support of each other. But my take is also like I live in a community where my neighbor lives a quarter mile down the road. I live on a dirt road. It's country. Very not very often do we see people walk by the house and, or even drive by, which is, I love that. It's still a community, but it's not the greatest community. There's no communication. So I think it's just, it's not an ideal community, but I think we have like a sub community. So like, you have TarotTube, but then you also have the spiritual community that includes tarot and other forms of divination. So, and that's a smaller community. So it's like we're making our sub communities out of this huge get together of tarot. So I think that we all kind of agree that the TarotTube is not. Maybe some might consider it a community, but inevitably it's not the kind of community that I would be happy to be in. But I will tell you, only because social media is, like looking at Tony's comment here, we got cancellation culture now too, bullying your social media out of existence. Okay, yeah. So we would ideally like to use the social media to make friends and to share things.
I think you're making a great, like, I don't know if you want to call it clash or like two bulls at their foreheads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, like where I'm at right now, my community, as far as like physically where I'm at, it works for me because honestly, I am better at communicating online, you know, than I am face to face. Unless you really know me, then you can kind of, you're used to my whatever. I'm not the greatest with communicating. Unless you know me, you understand what I'm trying to say. You can ask questions, but my communication skills are not that great. Which kind of, you know, I mean, I think a lot of us are, not to bring up the whole mental health issue, but neurodivergent.
Absolutely.
In some way. So we all have a hard time communicating.
And I mean, it shows in the fact that this whole topic is like Groundhog's Day every single year. Like you just need to type in tarot community into the search bar on YouTube and you will get, I don't even know how many videos, and it's coming up year after year after year. And we're talking about the same thing all the time. And still, look at us here. We're talking about it again.
So to play devil's advocate here, why does it keep coming up at year after year? Because people come to TarotTube to have a feeling of community, to have a feeling that I belong, to get that sense of like warm and fuzzy feeling. And for a minute you do get that warm and fuzzy feeling, especially if you can join in on the conversation, if you can make a video and people respond.
Absolutely.
But it's expectations versus reality. And that's when it hits people, when what they expect doesn't match up with what they intended. And then, yeah, I mean, there was also this that was a topic a couple of years back when it was like becoming a part of the community, and whose fault is it if you can't join, if they don't let you in? Like, are you not commenting enough, and are you not making enough VRs, whatever? Like, there's like the whole expectations versus reality is also like, YouTube is not real. It's not reality. Nothing on YouTube, for the most part, is authentic. The way that we present ourselves, like we're presenting whatever we want to show. We're not our authentic selves on YouTube, because the way that we are with our family members and friends at work is completely different than when we sit in front of the camera, present a topic or a deck or something. And I think that is also something that people are sometimes getting confused, that they expect, oh, like if I comment a few times or whatever, then the person knows me and then they're responding and we're friends and all that. It doesn't really happen that way. We're a global village because of the internet, but that still doesn't mean that we actually became closer.
Right, except for the ones that we actually did. And I noticed, like, if I try to be more authentic, that's when I lose subscribers. So it's like, you know, and
authenticity is not wanted.
What's that?
Authenticity is not wanted.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That is it. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. And I can't help it. But I seen a great video. I don't want to say his name in case, you know, but the video, he starts off the video with
Can I say names?
If you want to.
I think so, yeah.
Was it Toadstool Tarot?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I loved it. And he said, we all need to decide why we have our channels in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then stick to that. You know, we'll find our people. And I want to comment. Phoenix says, everything contains its opposite for equal balance. For the great people you meet, You also get some stinker butts.
I like stinker. Well, stinker. Funny. That's
I
funny.
just love that. I love that.
Now, to play devil's advocate again, is that this a spiritual, like a lot of people in the tarot community talk about self-development or spirituality or something along these lines. In other words, it goes back to the thing that you were talking about, Maria, about expectations and reality. Reality is one thing, but are we striving for a higher sense of living, a higher sense of relation? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I would say not on YouTube.
See, I was just a student of psychology. And I think even in this tarot channel, it's what side are you on? What seat are you sitting on the table? And that response of growth is that what you guys are challenging?
Well, we're still focusing on community, and there are two sides to this tarot tube, and there's a lot of people here that are commenting now, and they're adding their 2 cents in as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to check the oven, so excuse me.
I mean,
Okay.
maybe we can
Thank
take this a
you.
step
I'll
back.
try joining you guys. Are you
Thank
here till
you.
11?
Probably. Probably, yeah.
So I have a question for like that all three of us can answer. So why are we on YouTube? Maybe we can start with ourselves.
Okay, that's a
What
great
was the
idea.
reason? Why did we come on YouTube?
That's a great question. Who wants to go first?
Okay, so I'll go first. So I started this YouTube channel because I felt that my throat chakra was blocked and I don't talk enough, and I needed to talk, and I don't have anyone in my real life to talk about tarot or astrology or these types of things. And now I'm finding, quite honestly, that I don't fit in tarot tube because I'm not a collector. I'm not going to do a lot of tags. And so now I'm moving towards a different intention of astrology and just putting out things when I want to. And if people like it, great. If people don't, oh well.
I think that's awesome. What about you, Maria?
Well, for me, it was like my YouTube channel. I never made that to necessarily produce content for other people. I found TarotTube in the spring of 2018, and in the summer of 2018, I decided to make a channel so that I could like comment and everything. And I always had the intention of putting out videos, but for me, my channel is like a journal, a diary of my tarot progress, where I am in my journey, and it's like I was thinking, okay, I have two nieces. They're very young. And my sister said if they ever become interested, she is totally okay with me teaching them. And so it's like, for me, it's kind of like a legacy. Like if someone wants to know what I'm up to, then they can watch those videos. I want to see, where was I a couple of years back? What was I thinking about? What was I working with? Like this channel is essentially, because I'm really bad at writing stuff down, journaling and all that. It sounds kind of fun, but then I lose interest. And so I decided, okay, I'm just going to sit down, talking to the camera, show some stuff. And this is essentially my tarot journal. I don't make these videos for other people. I make them first and foremost for myself. Another reason why I did this and like eventually decided to show my face was to connect with some people. And I have made those connections. I never wanted to get big with this channel. That was never my intention. I'm not playing the numbers game. But the connections that I made, I hold them very dearly because Like we, for example, we talk in private about these kind of things, and we've become friends. We've met in real life.
Absolutely.
And all of that. And that is an added bonus that comes out of this, because I don't have any tarot people here in my city that I can do this with. So yeah, I was looking for like-minded people to learn from and to study with. And that has come true. But for me, it's not the whole thing like, oh, let me make a video. What can I do now? How do I get more subscribers? That was never my thing, and it will never be my thing.
Absolutely. You know, when I first started my channel, honestly, I think everybody that in here mainly knows that I was cool with just being a guest and kind of backstage with my sister's channel. And then I was like, everybody like, oh, come on, Carla, make a channel. So I made a channel, and I was being coached to do certain things to get subscribers and all that. But, you know, it's I know I come off as extroverted, but that's kind of the thing, like what you were talking about. It's not really how I am unless you know me really well. I would choose to just not say anything. I'm good with that. I will let other people talk all day. But then I started feeling the passion of learning that spiritual tool. And to me, tarot is a spiritual tool. So I was starting to get excited about that. I was getting excited about the implications of the tarot being connected to the tree of life, so it's like when we were doing the round table, then so it's like it got really deep, and I wanted to share more than just tarot. So then I started to realize it's not just tarot. It is spiritual, and tarot is just a part of that, which includes pretty much any type of divination. And then, I really got in on those community challenges. Those are the type of tags that were to learn about us as individuals and what made us tick, not so much about, what was in our tarot collection. And so I was fine with my channel going that way because, for one, I don't have a big tarot collection, so I can't really participate in a lot of the tags that have a bigger collection to choose from. I'm okay with showing my deck all the time, but the same decks all the time, but that gets a little boring. So I guess that kind of brings me to the next question is, what's going around the community right now is consumerism.
Yeah.
What is that? What is consumerism? Farah, you want to give us your take on that?
Consumerism, as far as I understand, is the noun version of to be a consumer, and to consume is to take in. But more so, generally speaking, in this current situation, or the tarot tube, it's spending money on specific these tarot decks. And the recent one is the Ritual Tarot of $90. And I was actually talking to somebody, and I was saying, like, I wouldn't spend $90 on a shirt. I wouldn't spend $90 on a tarot deck. And the price of how much money you're spending, and the money, it's all the whole thing of money. So basically, consumerism and tarot, and how much money you're spending, who's spending money, and it leads into that the inequality that we'll talk about later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how many decks you're buying, and how many decks you're using and consuming, and all of that. That's a really bad way of explaining it, but that's the best I got. That's the best answer I have. I'm sorry.
Well, however you choose to explain it is it's how you see it. There's no right or wrong, I think.
Yeah,
exactly.
What about you, Maria?
I think consumerism, we made it happen. It didn't happen to us. People like to talk about this whole thing in terms of like victim mentality and stuff, and I don't see it that way, because this whole thing that we're complaining about, essentially, we created this monster
Mhm.
because we are the ones who decided that the videos that are most clicked on YouTube, besides the whole pick a card stuff, is unboxings and flip throughs. So we decided to go and buy more and more decks so we can have more and more videos. The publishers picked up on that. They are creating more and more decks. So we got the ball rolling. So to now sit there and complain about this whole machinery that we essentially started as the consumers is kind of a like, really? Do we need to complain about that? If we don't want this, then we need to stop buying. But we don't, because we enjoy buying. But then the question is, why do we buy? So this is like a rabbit hole to go down. But yeah, I don't think consumerism is the problem. I think we need to ask ourselves, why are we buying? What kind of emotional or mental state are we in when we shop? Because I think that is the real question. I can talk from my own experience. For example, in 2019, I purchased 52 decks, tarot and oracle. And that's basically one deck a week. It didn't happen that way, but like in that year, I bought 52 decks. I've only ever used 16 of those. So 36 have been basically untouched. And in that year, I was dealing with slowly coming out of an abusive relationship. I was throwing myself into my job, and this was before the whole pandemic thing. But after my 8 hours of work, I came home into the place where I didn't really feel emotionally safe or whatever. So I needed another outlet, another thing to do, a coping mechanism. And for me, that in that moment became shopping. And the thing that I bought was tarot decks, because that was my thing that I was interested in. And so for me, it was never about the tarot in that moment. It was the thrill of receiving the package, opening it, and seeing something new, flipping through, putting it away, next. So I lost the whole meaning of why I was even getting the whole tarot stuff in the first place, and it became a coping mechanism. And so the consumerism is not the bad thing. It was my state of mind that I was in that was doing this.
Yeah. See, I can definitely see where both of you are coming from, because inevitably I feel like we're responsible for everything that we do. No one else is responsible for what we do. Um, and did anybody actually take a look at Benabelle's blog
Yeah.
concerning this? So
No, I mean, I've heard through the grapevine, but no, I haven't personally read the whole thing.
it was spot on. The
Mhm.
only part that I don't that not that I didn't agree with, but I feel like there's one thing that we're missing, is that consumerism isn't just about tarot. Obviously, consumerism can affect us in anything, and the problem is a global thing. And tarot is just like this little minute branch of, or little minute whatever you want to call it, a little tiny aspect of the bigger picture, and it does contribute. But I had interviewed Peter J. Watts a while back, and in his book, he had talked about, in the Anime Monday Dialogues with Earth, he talked about Earth's overshoot day. And last year, we had hit it on July 29th. So, granted, inflation is rising. So I don't, and I'm thinking it's kind of going up everywhere. But I know that here in America, it's at an all-time high. So I mean, if when the inflation is higher, maybe the desire to purchase is less, especially if you are in a lower income bracket, because if you don't have an addiction to either shopping, or you don't have any type of mental issue that is making it hard for you to not want to buy something, that overshoot day might not be as soon. But the fact is people got together and are keeping an eye on that. It's important. It shows that it's a big deal. People are actually keeping an eye on when we hit Earth Overshoot Day. And what that is, it's when we've used up all of Earth's resources and we are on borrowed resources. You know what I mean? And that includes the paper that goes into making decks. It includes the packaging. It includes the gas that it takes.
Carla?
Huh?
Is she gone?
What happened?
Am I here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Carla?
okay.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I don't know did you miss a lot of that?
I heard everything. I heard all of it.
Anyway, I think that kind of trumps it all. Consumerism isn't just about tarot, it's about everything. But I use my tarot, and this is just my opinion. This is just it's a spiritual thing. So along with being spiritual, I want to be mindful. So, I mean, and with what Benabel said in her blog, we set the algorithm here. We set the algorithm in YouTube. So if we're watching more videos like that, those videos are going to keep popping up. So, and it's our own responsibility. You know, it's our responsibility. And when the problem is as big as it is, then that's just something we have to decide for ourselves. Are we going to help, or are we going to?
I want to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Okay, alcoholism. Now, as a community, are we going? Now, we've all pretty much agreed that, you know, this tarot tube doesn't really fit an ideal community definition, but some people still want to use the word community. Alcohol, if somebody is an alcoholic, is it neighborly? Is it good form to keep putting alcohol and loving on the alcohol in front of an alcoholic? Does that make any sense at all?
It does. Not to cut you off real quick, because I want to answer that, but I also want to address what Ange is saying in her comments, because it's extremely important. I do understand what you're saying, Farah, but what I feel about that is unless we're really willing to be like what Maria said, extremely authentic and put ourselves out there without having to worry about getting the comments like what certain people have gotten when they do put themselves out there, because maybe they don't speak eloquently or whatever, you know, unless we're really to take all the consequences that go along with being extremely authentic in our given that message. You know, no one is going to know who has those types of problems, because look what happened when somebody comes out and says, I have a problem. Well, I'd say half of the community was supportive, and here we are loosely with the term community, you know, and then the other half were very, you know, not accepting. And I would even go as far as to say not mean in their comments, but definitely gaslighting her, you know. So it's still that whole process is as if, you know, when we choose to be extremely authentic, there are going to be consequences to that. And
I'm talking about the other side, the people that are showing off the decks and going, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Do not they have a responsibility?
But what about personal accountability?
Doesn't it go both? Yeah, yes, I get that, but there is personal accountability. But if somebody And if you look at Mistress Ray's video and read all the comments, there's a lot of people who have said, I've left this community. And on my rant video, they have said it feels yucky, it feels toxic, it feels that it's too much infomercials.
Exactly. I understand that. And yes, but I can't hold someone else accountable, Farah.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, I can't. No, I agree. I can't. I'm just putting it out into whoever is listening to go, you know, look, okay, maybe I shouldn't tell people, I know I shouldn't suggest to people what they should do. But on my end, like one of the new tarot decks that I got was the Dreams of Gaia. And I didn't do a walkthrough of it. And I didn't ooh and ah over it. Will I show it later throughout my videos? Yeah, I will. But I didn't do a walkthrough of it and I didn't ooh and ah. Does that make sense? Like, so as a YouTuber, I'm going to go, I'll get a new deck, but I won't do a walkthrough of it.
I think kind of like what Maria was saying earlier about expectations. It's like, I think that what you're saying is absolutely well received, and people would agree with you, Farah. But realistically, the algorithm is supporting the bigger channels because of the marketing aspect of it. I do believe that. I don't think that it's good for consumerism, but I mean, unless, we do something to change that, you and I, the people that are following these channels, unless we stop following these channels, it's not going to change anything. And I am no way suggesting that. I'm just saying that we have to watch what fulfills us, what we want to watch. But that kind of brings me to what Ange was saying. Like, she changed the name of her channel because it's not just about tarot for her. And it's kind of like what I was saying earlier about the spiritual community, and then tarot is a part of it. So it's like she still wants to, talk about tarot on her channel, but she's taken another aspect of it. And then she also talked about the mental issue is that we always have that. We can always talk to somebody about if we know we have a problem. You know what I mean? Like Mistress Ray said she thought she might have a shopping addiction, to fill that void. It's like, I'm addicted to food sometimes. It's like sometimes if I am like, stressed out or, I want to put something in my mouth. It's like, it's kind of like a comfort thing. So, watching a McDonald's commercial or driving by a restaurant where I'm smelling food, it's like, hey, or even watching a video of somebody cooking. It's all out there. I can just look it up and it's there. Will I tend to go and watch those things? Probably not so much, unless I'm looking for a healthy alternative. Then believe me, I do watch a lot of those videos. But I think it's reality. And we talked about the 4 agreements. I think it applies here too. Honestly.
Reality. Okay, reality. Why? Look, if there have been so many people in the past that have said, well, slavery is just reality. We just have to accept it. Why do I have to accept reality? Why can't I push back? And as far as the algorithm goes, yes, you're absolutely right. I think the algorithm is always going to, and people are going to be loving on all the new and shiny things, right? And But I think there were a lot of people that said that these bigger channels, or whatever the case may be, there are influencers. It's influencing people. You can say no, no, take it or leave it. That's fine. You know, it's you need personal responsibility. You need to do what's best for you. You need to get the help that you need. But you know, there is this aspect in this tarot community that says, oh, we're all in it together, we're all here for each other, and that kumbaya feeling thing.
I do agree with that. I do. And I also think that, like, if I was to, I'll give you my opinion on the whole, like, what happened with Mistress Ray's video. I was highly disappointed in the reactions that I seen with the people that were beating her up over using her authentic voice. And I will tell you, I don't ever want to be like that. That's my opinion. The thing of it is I can't hold those people responsible. I can only hold myself responsible and hope that other people do so also.
I agree.
I do not condone it. And I wouldn't be proud of myself to act like that. I have been on the receiving end of that, and it's not fun. And you're right. We should be able to use our voices. And this is the last community that I would think that would treat someone else like that. That being said, I'm also looking at it realistically, but it doesn't make me happy. So inevitably, YouTube in general, as far as like the tarot tube community as a whole, I'm not a fan. But my little sub community of the people that I have surrounding me, you know, the people that I do talk to, and the videos of my friends, and the content that I watch regularly, I love it. I love it because none of those people I've ever seen go to other channels and treat other people like I seen on that.
And Carla, if you ever see me behave badly, I want you to call me out. I want
I would.
I want you to do the mama bear thing on me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that I learned very quickly when I came into this. Like, everyone's always talking about like spirituality and let's be spiritual and like the kumbaya, like you said. But this, like, from what I have witnessed in here, there is not a lot of spirituality to be seen. And because when we talk about spirituality and lifting each other up, and for example, getting from 3D to 5D ascension and all that kind of stuff, putting each other down or putting other people down and hating on each other and whatever, like there's so little spirituality in all of this at the end of the day, that like the personal issues always are in the forefront. It's not like we have completely, and I feel especially over the past 3 years, we have completely forgotten what it is to walk in someone else's shoes. We don't do that anymore. We don't really have empathy. And like the whole lockdowns and everyone for themselves, I think that has turned us into worse empaths in a way. Like we're not really able to do that anymore because we were away from each other. And I think we need to find a way to come together again, to actually see someone else's pain and feel it. And we haven't been able to do that in the past couple of years. And it shows. It really shows on YouTube as well.
Excellent point.
I would like to say something real quick too. Like, I subscribe to a lot of channels that do the walkthroughs. And I will tell you that if I'm shopping for a deck, I thoroughly appreciate a thorough walkthrough. So in that aspect, okay, that's using my responsibility as a person to say, okay, I want to look at this and I want to see it. So I appreciate those channels. And if that's what that channel is, that's what that channel is. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I agree with you. That's the best part about, I do watch the walkthroughs if I'm about to buy a deck. Yeah.
Yeah. It saved me, from buying something that may not have actually been what I wanted, because I don't have, I think somebody had said this, watch it with the sound off. If you feel the reviewer might be biased, watch it with the sound off. But I think like B does wonderful walkthroughs, and she's extremely honest. And she shows everything. She shows us the size of the card. She shows, the card stock. She shuffles it. She shows the box. She reads out of the guidebook. Yeah, I mean, I thoroughly appreciate that. And then look at B. She comes to all the lives. Look at how supportive she is. She is don't mean to call you out, B, but I love you. Same with the rest of the ladies in here. You guys are extremely supportive. And these are, you guys are my people, because, your channel isn't just about walkthroughs and all that. You're playing the part in the community. I've never seen B put a bad comment on anything. Same with Carol, Rain.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
I just look, I think you're amazing. And the one conversation that you and I had in my rant video, we were able to talk in a very nice, civilized way. I just can't have in my feed, I can't turn on YouTube and see new decks in my feed because it's going to make me itchy to buy something.
I see that. I see that. And some people don't have that problem. So I mean, we just did a tarot tea and tiaras about picking better problems. And I think that would work. It's like, we each know, and if we're honest with ourselves, we know where our problems lie, and we can address those. There is something about this tarot tube that I don't think it was ever like it is now. And I'm going to ask you guys if you agree with me. And I kind of seen it talked about in some of the other videos and comments, is the tags. It's like, yeah, I can't participate. A little bit I can, but I mean, it's almost like, when you're it's like you are definitely targeting an audience or a participation from a certain group of people. And it kind of keeps the smaller people out of it. When you know that some people are not going to have that type of a collection. So you already know that these BRs are going to be from people that do. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that?
I agree.
Yeah.
Like with I see that too. Like a lot of the tags that are coming out, they kind of require a bigger collection so that you have choices to actually present for the various categories that are being asked for.
Yes.
And if you don't have that, you can't really participate. You feel left out and all of that. And so, yeah, it's...
That I could see as that person might want to take a little bit responsibility then.
But on the other hand, I think they don't have to, because
I'm going to play antagonist.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, both. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So, look, naturally I'm with you on the tag situation, but I'm just going to play devil's advocate just for the fun of it.
Okay.
Just to advocate for this other side. Now, while I was watching Tarot Tube back in 2018, 19, 20, well, all the years, and I was silently watching, and they'd say, well, this is my summer deck, and this is my winter deck, and this is my soul deck, and this is my comfort deck, and this is my, my shadow work deck. I was like, hey, that's an interesting way to look at decks,
It is. I agree.
And it made my small collection, which I have, for those that don't know, I just counted it recently, and I think I have 24 24 tarot decks. That's how many I have. And I have more Oracle. But yeah, my 24 tarot decks. And I was like, hey, that gives me a new way of looking at my tarot decks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, this is mainly just a question because, you know, I just noticed that I'm seeing more and more of that, and I can't really compete with that, so I just stay away from it. But I've also noticed that I don't really care to watch those anymore because
Yeah.
I would love to be able to participate. And I don't get me wrong, if I was shopping, maybe, but I would also just rather watch a review, you know. So, I mean, I guess I didn't really have a point except for I can't compete. So
It's not just you.
stay
That's the
away from
thing.
it.
There's so many people who don't make videos. There's so many people who don't make videos or want to make videos, or people who have left the tarot community, so to speak, that I have talked to, and I'm subscribed to their channel, and they're like, well, I'll just use tarot privately on my own and
Yeah.
not just share it on social media, you know? Because of this thing, like, well, I'm not in the tarot tube world, and I don't participate in the tags. And frankly, if what I'm just going to bring it out, if it isn't a walkthrough and if it isn't a tarot deck, what are the other things that tarot tube offers?
You know what? I was just thinking about that when you were saying that too, because honestly, my channel isn't about that anyway. So yeah, I mean, it would be kind of pointless for me to participate in that when I want my channel to be more about spirituality and then all the things that go along with that as far as like divination. So that includes tarot, but it also includes my palmistry. Like I want to do some more stuff with charms and stuff like that. Yeah, so I mean, a tag is fun here and there, but I'm gonna participate in like the community tags where you know, like maybe getting to know me a little bit without giving away personal things that people can find out about you to steal your identity. You know,
Yeah.
we should stay away from that, but
Yeah. And I mean,
so
how many times can you actually do these tags that are basically asking the same kind of questions? And I mean, there's a new one going around also asking for your deck for this, your deck for that, your this deck and that deck and everything. And I mean, it's all been done before as well. So I'm kind of missing
good
some
night,
new
Tony. Thank
stuff
you.
on YouTube. Like I'm actually missing tarot on
Bye,
TarotTube.
Antoinette.
And like I think we went from the age of enlightenment to the age of entitlement in a way. Like we're showing all this stuff and we have all this and yeah, it's good. But like the reason why we actually came to TarotTube is because of tarot. But where is tarot on TarotTube? Just showing a deck is for me is not tarot. Like I actually I think a good question that I heard in one of the videos, I forgot which one it was, but have you actually learned anything about tarot since you've been on TarotTube? And I think that's a really good question. Yeah, I have learned a little bit here and there, but not as much as I intended to when I actually joined. Like I was hoping for a lot more actual tarot talk and not just like deck comparisons and flip throughs and stuff like that. I'm missing the deeper stuff. And something that I also noticed is completely gone is the idea of depth year. Where like before the
Okay.
pandemic, everyone was like crazy on like depth year and let's go deep, not wide, and let's work with what we have and get to know those decks better. Whatever happened to that? I think also because of the lockdown, everyone started shopping again. Because we were just in a different state of mind. But I'm really missing the tarot in TarotTube. I don't know how it is for you guys, but yeah, I want more tarot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know that all three of us, we've read some amazing books on tarot, right?
Yeah.
And we've read these incredible books which everybody doesn't always have the time to read, or maybe you forget the stuff you've read, or it's nice to go back and revisit those books, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like if one of the things that I do is sometimes I'll do a silent meditation on all the moon cards, or silent meditation on all the hermit cards, right? So if, you know, just to compare all these hermit cards or all these moon cards, or going back and maybe reading a passage from, and I get it, I've seen people do that, and the algorithm doesn't care for it, so
Yeah.
people play to the numbers. And unfortunately, I think a lot of this is happening. Hey, look, I'm being perfectly honest. I admit I am low-key competitive. I do want bigger numbers, but I also have to be like you were guys talking about, be realistic
Mhm.
and just realize this is what it is, and this is where I'm at, and you know, the thing. And I was telling my brother the other day that I know, um you know, there's some people that just do beautiful aesthetics.
Mhm.
Should
Mhm.
I go and spend a lot of money and give myself like some beautiful aesthetics?
Right. See, that's the point I was trying to make with the whole those tags.
Yeah,
Does that influence people to be like, well, if I really want to like I want to be able to do these
Good night
tags,
to
it'll get
you.
me more subscribers, so I need to buy more decks. That's kind of the question I was leading into, is like, is does that contribute to consumerism in
yes.
tarot tube?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We're
kind of what I was
feeding the hamster wheel. Like we got
Mhm.
on the hamster wheel and we're making it spin as fast as we can.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, but again, we have to hold ourselves accountable. If somebody's doing that and they're not going to hold themselves accountable, well, there's nothing we can do about it.
Mm,
We just either choose to, you know, not watch it, or we watch it. It's totally up to us to hold ourselves accountable for our own choices.
yeah.
But
I
I
So
mean,
the
see nothing wrong with speaking out again. Look, I
Oh,
did
I
get a
don't
lot of
yes, I agree with that, Farah.
I did get a lot of hate, and I did lose subscribers, and I can still speak out against it,
Yes.
you know, and go, you know, I don't think what you guys are doing is all that helpful, and it's kind of annoying, and that's just my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, they have to be accountable for their own actions, and you're accountable by, you know, you put yourself out there that um you're going to always have people that just don't agree with you, and they may not be at the same um part of their spiritual journey as you are. Doesn't mean lesser, or um doesn't mean you're better or they're lesser, or you know what I'm saying. It
mhm.
doesn't mean that.
Absolutely.
They're just not,
Absolutely.
their journey's different, and you know, they haven't read the four agreements yet. Or what's the
Or
other
how
one?
to subtly not give a fuck.
Yes, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
it right there. You know, and I'm thinking maybe I'll put that disclaimer on all my videos. And if you get the chance, you know, check out these great books.
Yeah.
However, can I play devil's advocate again?
Always.
Okay. Because this is a controversial show.
Yeah.
Jesus, Buddha, Krishna,
Mm.
they did not have tarot decks.
No, but they knew
They
about the tree of life, I'll bet.
they knew stuff, man. They knew stuff.
Yep. They knew
Yeah.
about spiritual alchemy.
I think the more we have, the more we actually get away from what we initially intended, like
Yes.
with acquisition and stuff. It doesn't make us any more spiritual
No.
than someone who has simply one deck, or simply who's just someone who's just channeling.
Yes.
It's like the thing that, like, we see shiny things, we want to have shiny things. That's perfectly human. No one's denying that. But
Absolutely.
what do we do with that? And I'm at a point where I'm completely bored with more than half of my collection, so to speak. I think I'm at about 150 or so. And there's so many of them I don't use. I'm actually now at the point where I'm finally starting to think, okay, I want to let this one go and this one go because I simply don't use it. And I feel now, after realizing how I came to all of these decks, and then I got a better problem because now my money is going into something else, because I do have a transatlantic relationship. So yeah, I need money for traveling. And so I can't buy tarot decks anymore. And that is a good problem to have for me. And
It
it
is.
also, like in the beginning, I have to say, like in 2020, when I started saving up for the first trip, it was a little bit hard to not shop for decks because I was coming out of that. But as soon as I realized what I was putting my money into on the other side, it became easier and easier over time. And now it's like, last year I got 6 decks. Some of them were gifted to me over the entire year. So I may have bought 4 decks for myself. And that's perfectly fine. And even with those, I'm not using all of them regularly. And yeah, I'm just kind of bored with a lot of stuff that I have because it's just sitting here. I'm not doing anything with it. I gravitate towards the same decks over and over again. And so I have learned a lot about myself in this process. So maybe it was good that I went through it, because otherwise I wouldn't be in this state of mind where I am right now. So it definitely also helped me to narrow down my the aesthetic of decks that I like. So I had to buy some of the stuff that I found out that I didn't like. So now I can be more focused when it comes to choosing a deck. And a lot of stuff that I now look at, I'm like, nah, not my thing, not my thing. I'll never use it. So I'm not even gonna buy it. It's just, it doesn't faze me anymore.
What's the 4th agreement?
Yeah. Do the best you can.
No matter where you are on your journey, just do your best.
I wonder if the whole I mean, there are more people using decks, and I think I had said earlier that, I can go to the shopping stores, like the suburban shopping stores, and buy a tarot deck if I want to. So maybe it's just, again, it's like you, Maria, you were saying, like it's a phase of people. It's a phase that and some people are out of that phase and some people are in the phase. And when you've done accumulating, because I did when I first started in 2018, I bought a lot of decks and I let a lot of decks go, and now I don't care to buy a lot of new decks. So maybe it's just this phase that just keeps happening over and over again. I don't know.
For me, it was FOMO, because when I started, I got my first tarot deck in 1999. And up until I found TarotTube in spring 2018, I had 5 decks altogether. That was it. And I was completely happy with that. Like, I had a few decks to rotate between. And if I was doing a reading for someone, I could have like 3 decks for them to choose one, like whatever pictures they felt more comfortable with. And that was like enough. And it was when I found TarotTube that I saw all these. I didn't know what Oracle decks were until then. So I have been living completely under a rock. And all of a sudden it was like, ooh, what's that? That looks nice. I want to have that too. Oh, yes, that talks to me. And so it was like, yeah, I want to have. It was like, oh my God, all these people have known about this stuff for how many years now? I need to catch up. But I've played catch up now. And so, yeah.
What I'm talking about is a phase in society. There are new people joining TarotTube. And so the new people are adding into that consumerism and collecting.
Because they think that's what it is. Yeah.
Right.
And then, these new people that have joined into the tarot community, then they'll get tired. They'll be like, okay, I'm cool. I got enough. And then there'll be a new wave of people that join the tarot community and go, I need to collect all the new stuff or something.
I like what Ange said. She said, okay, I'm back, caught up a bit. She said, I agree that I would like to see more tarot using the cards. And that's why I love certain channels that offer food for thought. Example, Practical Mystic Carol.
Yes,
Absolutely. And here's the thing with even the channels that are showing the cards. We are not here to judge. We can use our voices, absolutely, and I encourage it. There's no problem there either. My only problem with any of this was just watching somebody get tore apart for using her authentic voice. And what I thought was extremely unfortunate about it was people that I thought were, well, no, that's a judgmental statement. I'm not going to say it. I just didn't expect it. And I guess maybe that was probably a misjudgment on my part.
Well, it's very interesting that that some of the people that had these videos said they're autistic, and autism has a lot to do. They tried to clarify and said it has a lot to do with their communication and expressing themselves.
Right.
Isn't that interesting that these people who they first of all, they make it very clear, I'm autistic, so I've got these communication issues, and yet people say a huge variety of things to them in the comments.
Yeah, because I can guarantee.
We're missing the empathy.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. And that's the part that I think out of all of this, consumerism is real, but consumerism is a way bigger picture than what's in our community. I think we can do little things to help it. I think inflation is what has everybody thinking about it. The whole inequality thing is even worse right now, because of inflation. It's horrendous. You can't look at eggs went up. I mean, milk is horrendous. I mean, buying food that's healthy for you is going to break you if you don't have a great, a decent income right now in America. So I can only speak for America. So it's like, so anything that is extra for somebody that is dealing with that, it's hard, and you don't even have to have a mental illness to recognize that.
Yeah. But I think it's also like we're on the internet and we're not talking these things out face to face. And a lot of people in the comment section, like, people have become keyboard warriors these days. It's so easy to leave a comment. It's so easy to complain about stuff. Before we had the internet, people interacted in a very different way with each other, especially whether it was face to face or behind someone's back, but it was still in a face to face kind of environment. And the internet has also made us lose a lot of inhibitions. Like, all bets are off and people are just saying what they think with no filter and with no regards to someone else's feelings, because it's anonymous and no one can do anything, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think the internet and social media in itself made us change our behavior of how we react to things and how we respond.
I love talking without a filter.
I absolutely agree with that, Maria. Absolutely.
I apologize.
You're not on camera, honey.
Exactly.
So this has been an excellent discussion. There is one more thing that I would like to talk about, and I would like to get your comments on it real quick. And but maybe it might be a discussion for another time. In all of this consumerism and talking about like creators putting their decks out there, and then we're seeing knockoffs and theft of that. It's not really the same as consumerism. It is more about theft. But the part that I am associating with this whole topic is the part of the judging each other for whether it is, say, something, what do they call them, indie decks, or it's mass market. And it's like some people are afraid to show if they don't have the original production as the mass market. They think it's not as good. Do either of you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's very difficult to even distinguish with the different fakes and knockoffs and all that kind of stuff, where artists actually sign their rights away so other companies are able to produce those knockoffs, and when decks are actually being faked. Like, for example, the Röhrig Tarot that I have. There are that's the deck that has some like lots of boops and stuff, and some of the cards are censored or uncensored depending on which deck from which country you have. But the thing is, the uncensored version that has been floating around in like Russian-speaking countries and stuff, they are definitely stolen images that have been copied off of the guidebook, because the deck was never released in an uncensored way. So there's like a way that you can tell, okay, this is definitely stolen art. This has never been licensed in any kind of way or sold to be done. And so for me, it's difficult to say, okay, here is one where the rights were sold. And so I can't really tell the difference in a lot of ways. And then there's also another thing that I have a really big problem with, because I, as a living, I make videos. And so I know how it feels to have something stolen and used by someone else and all that kind of stuff. And what I see with copyright infringement, that just irks me on a whole new level. Just recently, I see a deck on Kickstarter that is currently there. It's an RWS clone with images from Avatar: Last Airbender. And the person is doing fan art. Yeah, that's all good and well. You can do that for your personal use, but not to sell it unless you have the stamp of Nickelodeon, who has the rights to that on it. And unless they get part of the profit, you have no right to sell that deck, because you're stealing the intellectual property of someone else.
Wait a minute.
Fan art decks should not be sold, period. That's wrong. It's illegal. No.
Wait a minute. So okay. You know me, at least in this show. I'm gonna be adversarial. On one topic, we're gonna say, do you? I'm not going to judge. On another topic, we're gonna say, I'm judging and don't do that.
When it's illegal, yeah.
Illegal. Look,
stealing intellectual property is a crime punishable by law.
Then it's punishable by law. But who are we to? It's reality. It's reality. Like,
but that doesn't make it okay.
Look, does the algorithm and the all of the things, because we were talking about all of the things before about, this is just the way reality is in TarotTube. That we just have to accept it.
I think we would have to define what is theft in that aspect, because the key words that I heard is the artist sold their rights.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I know from experience that if you sell your right to something, you get paid, but you only get paid one time. If you keep the copyright, then you have right to your material, your creation. Here's the thing. It's only an original once. So anything after that is a copy. And if you have the right to that, you have the copyright. That means that anytime your art is replicated, copied, whatever, produced, you should get a royalty from that. If and like with the USA Games and the other printing companies, when you upload your design into that, someone else is paying for the right to copy your art and reproduce it. So the theft, I think, is important, but how do we know? That's where another video would have to, like, or another podcast, because I do think that's important. And I think maybe Maria, you might have done something like this a while back, talking about knockoff decks. Here's the new things that have happened is copyright infringement. Now, Walmart has it that if you find your artwork is being infringed illegally, the copyright infringement, then you have a paper that you can fill out for free, and you can make a claim. So, and it's easy to search to see if your stuff is on there. Same with Amazon. I'm assuming it's the same with Etsy. Without actually looking that up, because I looked up Walmart and Amazon. I don't know about Etsy, but there, if you find your stuff on there and then say you didn't give them permission, then YouTube has it too. You can go and you can file a claim, and that is for free. So it's like, we can't control somebody not taking care of their own. It's like, if I sell my music, or if I give somebody right to my music, I'm going to get a royalty. But if I don't have the right to my music anymore, who am I to say who buys it?
This is reality. This is the reality of the way the world is.
These are still two different things. Like, one is okay, here is an original, let's make a copy of it. And what I meant with the copyright infringement with the fan art decks is they simply don't have the rights if it's owned by Disney or Warner Brothers or something like that. People just simply don't have the rights to make those fan art decks because they don't have the permission from Disney or Warner Brothers or something like that.
It happens all the time.
Right, I agree. They would have to have that. I would think they would have to have it.
So now you're judging. And
if it's in the legal thing, yeah.
On the other topic, you judge.
Yeah, but if it's illegal, like, it's the same thing as someone stealing a purse from someone. Do I judge the thief? Yeah, I do, because they had no right to steal that.
Okay, so
yeah, I have to agree with Maria. That type of theft, there's laws.
If you are enriching yourself in an illegal way, that's not okay. That's not the same as, oh, let me show you a deck and enable people to buy it. That's not even in the same ballpark.
When was there a time in history that we've had moral and ethical across the board?
Never, but that doesn't mean that it should continue.
Right, and if we're doing our best, if no matter what level in our spirituality, if we're doing our best, we're not going to condone thievery, just like I don't condone.
Yeah. And the only way to stop it is to not buy those decks. Like, fan art decks that are not licensed should just not be bought if we want to stop that kind of thing.
Tarot community is not a spiritual community. It's a collector community.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that if you know you're buying a stolen deck, or that's a little bit different. But if you're buying something that you have no idea, like, honestly, you can buy decks off of Walmart.
Yeah.
I've bought a few decks off of Amazon. So the point I'm trying to make is it my responsibility to make sure that it's not stolen? Do you know how easy it was to search for that deck? I think it's the creator's responsibility to check those, at least the most popular, and make sure there's not an infringement there. Because believe me, YouTube's on it. Mm-hmm. I had music on one of my little intro thingies of a video was made for me, and the video had someone else's material in it, and they cited me. They're like, hey, wait a minute, you can use that, but you better make sure you put the copyright claim or the whatever they call that, the link to the original artist's name has to be in the description. So it is now. But we have to we're not going to know that unless we do know that. And if we do know that and we're still purchasing that, I mean, I guess it's one thing to do it, but I definitely wouldn't be advertising that I bought something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if I got it from Walmart and it was legal that I got it, then it's nobody's place to judge me if I bought it for cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if somebody already sold the rights to it. Because yes, it is a dog eat dog world and I'm broke.
Hey, there you go. That's it. Look.
But I'm not going to also promote it either. You know?
What if I mean, I've seen the Spacious Tarot, and I would love to have the Spacious Tarot. And I think I went on the website and it was like $65. And I see that, like, I think on AliExpress or some other weird website, I could get it for $20. Am I wrong for getting it for at the other one? Somebody says, yes, you're wrong. But am I allowed to do what I want with my money? Am I allowed to buy what I want?
Well, if you look at it this way, if you know that it is like what Rain is saying here, there's a difference between pirating or bootlegging as opposed to it being licensed out.
Yes,
absolutely right. So, and that's exactly what Maria's saying. So it's like, if you know that it's being pirated or bootlegged, so, and you buy that, then how do you know you're not creating some type of a karmic repercussion from that?
Karmic repercussion from that.
Yeah. Like,
okay. So
you are knowingly
supporting it.
Yeah. Supporting someone stealing from the artist because their work was stolen instead of somebody bought the right to copy.
Literally everything that I've ever used, frankly, is a copy of somebody's original idea. The furniture that I have, the original idea, and somebody took it to make their own money. The equipment that I use was originally somebody else's idea, and somebody made it for cheaper. I mean, everything that I have. If I go into a thrift store, if I go to, like these like secondhand shops or like Nordstrom Rack or some other place, I'm buying stuff that is cheaper than what the original artist would have had. Am I wrong for that?
See, I think there's a gray area.
Thing.
It's not the same thing because it's not an artist.
No, it's like a chair or something, furniture. That's a normal thing. That's not like someone invented and only that person can use it. It's like chairs have been around as long as people know how to sit.
Well, in that aspect, it's just like the Mona Lisa. You can still buy copies of that, and I think it's public domain. You're paying for
public domain 70 years, at least over here, 70 years after the creator's death. Yeah, then it's free. Same with certain classical music or something. After a certain time, when there's no other next of kin, like 70 years after the last person has died who has family rights to it, then that's free. That's a different thing, though.
Okay, what about...
We're not stealing from the original artist.
Okay, karmic debt and the thing about right and wrong. Is it wrong for me to go into a restaurant and eat meat when I know that when intellectually know that the meat was not taken care of in the properly way? Have I created karmic debt? Absolutely, I've created karmic debt. Do I do it anyway? Yeah, I've done it. And I can bet you,
it's still your personal choice. Yeah, absolutely.
And I can bet you a lot of people have done that. They've gone to restaurant or fast food and created karmic debt with the food that they've eaten.
So inevitably, what you're saying is regardless of what somebody else says, right or wrong, just like Maria says, yes, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's against the law. It still comes down to if you're making that choice, you are personally responsible for the consequences, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I agree with that. But
I mean,
again, Maria's using her voice and saying, I feel that's wrong.
Yeah, I get
And
that.
if someone is creating an unlicensed deck and the people are using the law to, go after that people, I support the law.
Uh-huh.
And then the people have to pay the fines. And if it ruins them, lesson learned.
Yep. My only, like I said, I checked into the whole people buying their decks off of Walmart, or even like say you go to a fair. Like I just went to one recently. So a lot of those places will buy their stuff in bulk so that they can sell it at a cheaper cost. They still have the rights to do that because they bought it at a cheaper cost because they bought it in bulk. They were able to sell it for cheaper than, say, Etsy or, the original artist who did go mass market. Or so we just don't know. But the creator themselves can go on Walmart and Amazon, and they can file a copyright infringement. It's an application or whatever. It's just a form, a document that you fill out and you send it in, and that's free. And personally, I would suggest it to any creator. And that takes a lot of that responsibility off of us having to find out if we are contributing to theft or not.
Hey, Maria, I just, a lot of my arguments are pretty weak because actually I do agree with you. I'm just being goofy.
I mean, I do have those like cheaper decks in my collection as well. Like the first one came into my collection because I didn't actually know that it would be a smaller, cheaper version, because the prices on Amazon are pretty much the same now. So it's kind of hard to distinguish sometimes.
Yes.
And that is a difficult thing to do. But when I do see those rip-off decks that I know are not licensed in any kind of way, I stay away from that. Like, I don't want to contribute to that because I know from personal experience how it feels to have my intellectual property stolen. And I went after the person who did it and I shut down their YouTube channel for 3 months. I did it.
Ooh, bravo.
Yeah.
Good job. I like Carol says, if we didn't follow laws or have repercussions for breaking the law, we would have anarchy.
Yeah.
Carol, we already have anarchy. Where have you been living? Oh my God. Are you?
I still
must be
believe in the
living
law.
in a nice place because here
too.
I live in the United States.
I do
and the
too.
United
It's
States
there
is
for a
anarchy,
reason.
I can tell you what.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot. Does anybody in chat have any questions or you got?
I saw the Mahjong question here by Rain, and I think like if you do that for your own personal collection, oh my God, that's perfectly fine. Do that.
Absolutely,
and,
yes.
The thing is with fan art decks, yes, you can produce a fan art deck for yourself or to gift it away. The illegal thing is making money off of it.
Yes. Thank you for
But
saying that.
if you produce it at a print shop and you have 100 copies of it and you give it to 99 of your friends and keep one for yourself, that is perfectly fine as long as no one's making a profit.
Absolutely.
So if I need to say it again. If I bothered somebody that listened to the words that I said, I'm sorry. I was just being antagonist just to argue the other side.
And the thing of it is that was kind of the whole idea, was to get different points of view and just talk about it. Have a good talk. We weren't hollering at each other or gaslighting each other. We were talking openly and honestly, different views, and not trying to convince anybody out there in the rest of the world that we're right and you're wrong, because that is not how it works.
No, this is debate club.
Absolutely.
The audience needs to make up their own opinion.
Absolutely. And you guys were awesome, and chat was fantastic, and I thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And hopefully we can do this again real soon.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. And you ladies stay right there. And I'm going to
Until next year's drama.
Woohoo! I'm excited. Let's go. Consumerism 2020.